The glowing screen cast a pale light on Sarah's face, illuminating the knot forming in her stomach. It was late, long after everyone else had left the office, but she couldn't tear her eyes away from the spreadsheet. A discrepancy, at first a tiny ripple, had grown into a tide of numbers that didn't add up, revealing a pattern of intentional misrepresentation in their environmental compliance reports. Her company, a large and reputable corporation, was systematically understating its waste output, effectively circumventing regulations and potentially harming a local watershed. A chill snaked up her spine, unrelated to the air conditioning. Sarah knew what she was seeing. It wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate deception, meticulously woven into the fabric of their operations. And now she held the thread that could unravel it all. But what would happen if she pulled it? The questions pounded in her head. Her job? Her reputation? Her family's security? Was this an act of truth-telling or a betrayal of the very people she worked alongside every day? This is the silent crisis many face in the corporate world, the whistleblower's cross. When a Christian encounters wrongdoing at work, particularly at a systemic level, the path forward is rarely clear or easy. On one hand, there's the call to truth and justice. On the other, there's the very real fear of personal cost, the perception of disloyalty, and the potential for a professional scorched earth. The Bible is unequivocal about the importance of truth. Proverbs tells us, "The Lord detests lying lips, but delights in people who are trustworthy." Proverbs 12:22. And Ephesians 4:25 calls us to put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor. God is truth, and we are called to reflect His character. To knowingly a lie to persist, especially one that causes harm, seems to contradict this fundamental principle. But the issue runs deeper than just speaking truth. It often involves exposing wrongdoing that impacts others. Corporate malfeasance, whether it's financial fraud, unsafe practices, or environmental damage, rarely operates in a vacuum. It often exploits or endangers customers, employees, investors, or the wider community. Here, biblical commands to protect the vulnerable become paramount. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute, Proverbs 31:8 urges. And Micah 6:8 famously asks, "What does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." If a company's actions are unjust and harming others, remaining silent could be seen as complicity, a failure to love our neighbor. Yet, we also value loyalty. Many of us feel a strong sense of commitment to our employers, our teams, our colleagues. We've built relationships, contributed to common goals, and benefited from the stability our jobs provide. To expose internal wrongdoing can feel like a profound act of betrayal to these relationships and to the organization that provides our livelihood. This is where the tension becomes almost unbearable. Is our loyalty to the corporation absolute, or is there a higher loyalty to God's standards of righteousness, justice, and truth? For the Christian, our ultimate allegiance must always be to Christ. When corporate loyalty demands that we compromise our integrity or become silent partners in injustice, our Christian identity calls us to choose a different path. This doesn't mean we should act recklessly or without wisdom. The Bible also encourages discernment, caution, and seeking counsel. Be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves, Jesus advises in Matthew 10:16. A Christian considering whistleblowing would ideally pray for guidance, seek counsel from trusted spiritual advisors, gather clear evidence, and understand the proper channels for reporting. It's not about revenge or self-promotion, but about a difficult act of obedience undertaken with a heavy heart and a clear conscience. Sarah, staring at those numbers, understood this tension acutely. The initial fear gave way to a quiet conviction, forged in prayer and reflection. The potential harm to the environment, to the people downstream, felt heavier than her personal comfort. The call to truth, to justice, to protecting the vulnerable resonated deeply. It wasn't about bringing down a company or shaming individuals, but about restoring integrity, preventing harm, and upholding a higher standard. Whistleblowing, particularly for a Christian, often means taking up a very real cross. It can involve significant personal sacrifice, social isolation, and professional ostracization. It demands courage, humility, and a deep reliance on God's strength and provision. But in those moments of profound moral clarity, when truth and justice are at stake, the Christian is called to walk in faith, trusting that God honors those who prioritize His kingdom above all else. So, should Christians expose workplace wrongdoing? The answer, while nuanced and requiring immense wisdom, often leans towards a resounding yes when true injustice and deception are at play. It's a path less traveled, fraught with peril, but it's a path that reflects the heart of a God who champions truth and stands with the oppressed. It's a courageous act of love, even when that love comes at a very high personal cost. We invite you to reflect on this profound topic. Have you faced similar dilemmas? How did you navigate them? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights help us all grow in wisdom and discernment. And if this discussion resonated with you, consider subscribing or following for more thoughtful explorations of faith and life.